Hello, everyone. It's me, Shemp. Welcome back to a Wumpa Time episode number, and I am here with.
It's 44. Actually,
I know. You just
I
told me.
literally just told you.
My brain was like, bro, what if we did it? So yes, episode 44. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to episode 44. My name's Canadian Guy.
Yeah. Yeah, you know us, you love us. If you don't know us and this is your first time, what is wrong with you? Why didn't you start from the beginning? Anyways, so we got some oddball stuff to talk about. I guess first off is the most recent thing that was just a big oopsie doopsie no is Xbox announced that the Xbox Gold, Xbox Live, or whatever it's called, they were changing the prices. So the big thing was that it's for a year, instead of $60, it would be $120. So that means you would have to buy 6 months for $60 twice to get a year. And it's mainly because they wanted to shoehorn Game Pass.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, look at this good deal. It was a good deal before, but now it's like I'm literally paying for both of them. What? Give me a deal.
Yeah.
So,
Well, okay.
you go.
Okay, so I was like spitting angry, and I was trying to stay calm during my stream last night when people kept mentioning me. It's like, I swear, people poke me and they're like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Knowing that it's gonna get me to
Throws a stick like, hey, look at this.
Yeah, but knowing that it's gonna get me to explode because get me on a rant because I was fighting a rant yesterday. I wanted to save it for Wumpa Time. So here's the thing: is that they came out and said that they were going to make it $120 a year for you to have Xbox Gold. Now, to clarify, because it's not very clear, currently Xbox has 3 different internet services technically. One, Xbox Gold, which allows you to get Xbox Gold deals, monthly games, which recently haven't been the greatest, and then you can play online multiplayer, right? Now that was the Xbox Gold. Then there was Game Pass, which is $10 a month. So I guess $120 a year for Game Pass, but you don't get Gold. It's just Game Pass. You get Game Pass, which allows you access to all the different games and stuff, which I've made many comments about before, which I will probably say in a few minutes again, because even though I say I've referred it to before, I'll say it again. And then there was what they are pushing for, Game Pass Ultimate.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is what they were pushing for. Game Pass Ultimate is $15 per month, and you get Xbox Gold and Game Pass together.
I thought they merged it so like it was a permanent thing. Like if you got Live, you got Game Pass.
No.
Oh. Yeah, you're right. It's not clear.
Yeah. So that was originally it. Now here's the thing: if it's $15 a year, that is what? If 10 months is $150 plus 30, that's $180 a year. So essentially, they are trying to, when they made Xbox Gold $120 per year, that they are pushing the value of Game Pass. What they're doing is that they are shoving the Xbox Ultimate or the Game Pass. I'm so sorry. There's so many. There's 3 different things: Gold, Game Pass Ultimate. They were pushing for it, but they were trying to push them by bullying people by raising the price of Gold, and that's not how you do it.
No.
You don't say it. Well, it's so expensive now, I might as well just go ahead and get the Game Pass Ultimate, because if I'm paying $120 a year, I might as well pay the extra X amount to be able to get Game Pass. And that's wrong. That's horrible. And it's during a pandemic. They went to double the price of Gold during a pandemic.
Yeah.
When people are socially isolated right now, people are requiring friends, are needing help, and they are trying their best to cope with being stuck at home. We're currently, where I'm located, we're at a stay-at-home order, which is a curfew, but not really, but is. And
yeah, it's a little confusing.
It's just a little confusing. Xbox Gold and playing online with people has been a way for people to be able to connect, be able to have fun, and they were going to double it. They were going to push it, and there was a bit of a, I would suppose, a rallying cry on Twitter and on the internet in general that was compared. Oh yeah. One more thing before I continue. Xbox originally, if you had a free to play game, like let's say Fortnite, Apex, Warzone, the.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't have gold, you couldn't play those free to play games.
Yeah, so you needed to pay for the online service to play the free games.
Yeah.
Whereas with PlayStation and Nintendo, you don't.
You don't. Yeah, you don't. So that was something that was always an archaic thing about Xbox. So not only did that problem arise, that problem was brought up by many people, but there was a thing that someone was mentioning too, was that if you wanted to buy the Xbox One S or the Xbox Series S, and you were going to pay for gold and just play it in Game Pass and keep everything online, you would have to pay $180 per year. After like 3 years of use, you've paid for the console. Like you've paid for the value of the console in 3 years of use, and that's if you don't buy one single game. And that's expensive.
Good Lord. Yeah. Everything Xbox is just like, man, my wallet kind of is aching, dude. I just want to play video games.
And the thing is that the argument is now, I will say, Xbox came up forward last night, and they admitted that they were wrong. Now, I don't believe that 1 second that they believed that they were wrong. I believe the backlash was just so epic, and that people were just like, "No, this is not right."
Because we also have to realize that people were thinking that this was planned. Like they planned this to make them look better. They sent out Xbox Live cards that already had the new price on it, so they were fully committed. Yep. So to manufacture all of those and send them out and be like, oopsie doopsie, that's not like a, oh yeah, we had this plan the whole time. That's a, well, we wasted $40 making 30 million cards. Oh well.
Yeah. Well,
whatever. The pieces of plastic are there.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not too much money off, but the effort was there. The infrastructure was being set up for that, and on top of that, Xbox turned around and said, "Hey, we're also going to open up free to play games to be played on gold, without needing gold." Now they said that's going to be coming in the months to come. When is that going to be a priority to them? Probably not, but we'll have to see. But there's one more thing I want to do. One more thing. So the one thing that drives me nuts is people constantly say, "Why don't you just get the Game Pass? What's wrong with you? It's the best value in gaming." And that's the same sentence I hear over and over and over again. It's the best value in gaming. Best value in gaming. Sounds like something right out of a corporate mouth. Listen, here's the thing. Game Pass is great if it has the games you want.
Exactly. They're mandated games. I don't want to pay a high monthly fee for them to control what games I want to play.
Exactly.
Because if I want to play a game, I'm going to play a game. It would be cheaper for me to buy the game I want than to constantly pay for Game Pass, waiting and hoping for the game to get on there. Because I have a bunch of oddball games that I like playing that will never be on Game Pass, and all of the new games that are on Game Pass, I'd rather own physically, because you know what? They can't delist it if it's physical.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that things get delisted off of Game Pass all the time. It's not like, once a year they take off the lowest played things. No, my wife, they had Devil May Cry 5 on there. They delisted that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And my wife had Battle Block Theater. Battle Block Theater.
Yeah, Battle Block Theater.
Yeah, but she loved that game. She loved it to death. She would be hearing comments from the character, and she would laugh and then die and then have to redo it again, but she didn't care because she thought it was funny. And she loved that game. It got delisted, and because it got delisted, even though she has a save file and had the game data on the Xbox, it's gone. She can't play it anymore. She has to go and find it and buy it. And she was like, what was the point? What was the point of that?
Yeah, there's no reason, because I don't want to pay just for like games to get delisted.
Yep.
Speaking of getting delisted,
now we're in your territory.
Oh yeah. When I got the news for this yesterday at work, I got big sad, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this was no reason. So like, for I think 2 days ago, it was LittleBigPlanet's 10th anniversary, or LittleBigPlanet 2's 10th anniversary. I can't remember. It was one of their anniversaries. And to celebrate the anniversary, Sony delisted LittleBigPlanet 1 and 2 for no reason.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Get out of your house! I don't understand this, because one, they own the IP. Yep. They still use the licensed music in the game in future games. I don't understand it. And the thing is, if you go to the PlayStation Store and look up LittleBigPlanet, you'll get LittleBigPlanet 3. And then all of the DLC for LBP 1 and 2 says it's for 3. It doesn't work on 1 and 2. Or it doesn't say 1 and 2 at all. It just says 3. So they updated all of them to just say 3. So it wasn't a mistake. And that's not the only thing. You can also see LittleBigPlanet PSP and PS Vita. You're telling me the PSP and the PS Vita game outlive the two main games on the home console?
What?
See, the thing is, 2 or 3 years ago, Sony of Japan shut down the servers for LittleBigPlanet only in Japan. Okay. So you could still play the game, but you just couldn't share your creations or download anything or play online or anything like that.
So one of the main purposes of
the main purpose. But you could still play it. Right. You could still like, I want to play the story mode, and I want to create, whatever. And then for Sony of America, they're like, you know what? Just take it off. Take it off. Who cares? Just rip it down. What about LittleBigPlanet 3? That was kind of critically hated. Nah, keep that one up. What about PS Vita? That doesn't exist. Nah, keep it up. What about the PSP? We shut down the servers like 4 years ago. That one's cool. Keep that one up.
I don't know what's going on there. I have no idea why.
And I don't know if this affected the servers, because, I own the physical game, so I could pop it in and see what happens. But the fact that it just was like, all right, gone. Anyways, you want to play Cyberpunk?
Remember, that's
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. They pulled a Cyberpunk. I literally have no theory. I have no tinfoil hat theory this week on why this would happen. Yeah. It just does not make sense. It's like if Sony went back to the PS3, they were like, you know what? Just delist all the Ratchet and Clank. Like, who cares? Just take them off, bro.
Why? Like, the only thing I could think of is that if they went through and they're like, because 1 and 2 came out for the PS3, right?
Yes.
So the only thing I can think of is that maybe this is not just the only PS3 games are going to get delisted, that they're just going to go through and start delisting every PS3 game because of it's old. And
well, the thing is, like, I guess that would make more sense, but that's more work, because you can't just shut down the PS3 and the PS Vita store, because it's connected to the PS4 store, which is connected to the PS5 store. So if you shut one down, you shut it all down.
Well, why you don't turn off the store, you just turn off everything at the store. Welcome to Walmart. We don't have anything.
We couldn't shut the store down, so we just got rid of everything.
We have no stock. We have no employees.
We have walls and dreams. And the thing is, they announced so we're gonna remove listings for PS3 and PSP games on the website and on the PS4, so you can't look at them because it doesn't make sense to look at them. Right. And everyone's like, okay, that's fair. And they specified you can still access the stores on the consoles. And it was like, okay, that's fair, because the only people who are going to be going for the store for those games are going to be on the console.
Right.
And then if they are just delisting all of them, I think would have just been like yeah, go to the console. They'll never know.
Go to the console. They go in. There's nothing here. We know.
This is where I'd have all my digital games if I had any.
I mean, the positive thing, well, maybe not necessarily positive, but the good thing about LittleBigPlanet and its third anniversary, and the fact that it had all the PS3 games. Yeah, they're getting removed, it seems, and it might just be that thing where they're delisting all the 2 generations. But it's a good thing that there was a physical release for LittleBigPlanet. Now, my question is this going to be a atypical thing that PlayStation is going to be doing in the next 2 generations? Because that means after this generation is done, after the PlayStation 5 generation is done, if the world is not set on fire and burnt to crisps by then, we'll say by the PlayStation 6, which I already feel the arthritis of my future old self coming in, just saying PlayStation 6. If my back hurts. Yeah, my leg. I'm just thinking that midway through PlayStation 6, all of our PlayStation 4 games that are not first party might start getting delisted as well. So this might be a common occurrence that we're going to start seeing, and this is where the art of video game preservation is going to be something that's going to be incredibly important. And this is where people are going to start hunting down games and finding games that are just that needed to be completely printed on the disc too, because if you think about it, like, remember the fiasco with Spyro Reignited?
Yep.
Spyro Reignited. Now, of course, at the time, to me, didn't bother me, but what I'm saying is, if this is going to become a common occurrence, if delisting games is just going to become as normal as anything, then yes, this is going to become a problem, because that would mean that in the next generation, eventually Spyro Reignited is going to get the axe. And in order to be able to actually play the game, you have to get the reprinted copy, which has the entire game on it.
Which is only on PS4, by the way.
Really?
Xbox One and Switch do not have that reprint.
Ooh.
Obviously for the Switch, because for the Switch, yeah, it's just a 10 gig download. So they could have put that on the cartridge, but for the Xbox One, they didn't even bother reprinting it, because I think they reprinted it before the Switch version. No, it was 2019. So yeah, it was during the Switch version.
I looked as well. The Spyro Reignited didn't sell great on Xbox. I remember
understandable.
The initial physical sales, it was something stupid. It was like 20-1 or something like that to PlayStation. It was something ridiculous. There was more Nintendo Switch copies sold than Xbox.
So this also, it just opened my eyes. You know what that means for LittleBigPlanet?
What?
The prices of the physical games for 1 and 2 might go up.
Oh, totally, 100%. Because
they've been $10 for years.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't. It depends on how many copies they sold and how many are in circulation. But honestly, like, I don't think, because at one point LittleBigPlanet had such a height of a craze, 1 and 2 especially. I think there was a lot of copies sold for LittleBigPlanet. So yeah, it'll go up. I think it will go up, but I don't think it's going to go up a significant amount, because there were so many copies floating around. And but the thing is that, like I said, I am nervous about these platformers and stuff like that, because we really haven't had a full AAA platformer come out until even Crash Bandicoot 4. Everything's been kind of indie. Like, you got Super Lucky's Tale, you got all these other platformers that have come out over the years. And of course, you have your Mario, of course, right? But outside of Nintendo,
indie Mario,
D Mario. but outside of Nintendo, we haven't had too many AAA platformers, and the only one that I can really think of as of recently was Crash 4, right? I mean,
Crash 4, and then the 2 Sonics before that, before Crash Insane, at least.
Yeah, that's about it. So there hasn't been too many AAA full price $59.99 or now $69.99 platformer game in a long time. So we can see that they're starting to make a comeback, and if we assume that Spyro is going to be coming back as well, I want to be able to preserve these games. I want to be able to play them in the future, right? I don't want them to be delisted, because people are still playing Spyro 1 and Crash Bandicoot 1 today. People are still playing the originals. So,
which by the way, went up in price. I recently got, because I didn't own a physical copy of Crash 1 until yesterday, and I got it from work. I added it to my game collection. I saw the value, and I was like, it's like $40 right now.
Yeah. Crash Bandicoot has been, like, the value of Crash recently has been going like up and up. Like, I posted on Twitter, Crash Insane. I can't find Crash Insane anywhere. I was trying to get the Switch version. It's $91 off of a gouger on Amazon.
Yeah.
And also too, with the pandemic too, the resources have been a lot more scarce. So Man, I don't know what it is, but Crash Bandicoot has been getting a lot of love recently, and I'm all for it. And so are platformers. Platformers in general are kind of making more of a comeback. Speaking of a comeback in platformers, Balan Wonderworld.
Is it Balan?
Balan.
Balan Wonderworld? Balan Wonderworld.
Balan
Okay.
Wonderworld. It's if you guys ever played Knights, which is Knights part of the Sonic universe? No.
No. So Knights is just. That's understandable, but it's developed by Sonic Team.
Okay.
Knights is one of the few non-Sonic Sonic Team games.
Okay, I got you.
I think there's only 3. There's that, Billy Hatcher, and Phantasy Star Online.
Gotcha. Okay, so all right, so not part of the Sonic world, but when you look at Knights, and it's made by Sonic Team, you could think like, hey, maybe that's a Sonic side character, but I digress. Sorry. So. But Knights was a game developed by Sonic Team that was an interesting floaty platformer, and the director of that game has broken off and kind of made his own thing, and he's creating a game called Balan Wonderworld, and it's a heavily inspired Knights game, and a lot of people are really excited for it. I never played Knights, but it's always one of those games I kept an eye on. But this game looks
yeah.
Go ahead.
I played a little bit of Knights on the Wii, and. Yeah, just mainly the Wii, because, like you said, Knights is created by the creator of Sonic, which is Yuji Naka. So I think Yuji Naka left Sonic Team during the Sonic 06 development for obvious reasons.
Wow.
and then he made his own development team, which made a game called Rodea Sky Prince or something like that. It was an ambitious game. It was really good on the 3DS, and then they put it on the Wii U, and it was really bad. Guess what the Wii U version came with?
What?
The Wii version. Guess what the Wii U can play? Both versions. So why? I don't understand. I don't understand.
That's a weird one.
That always gets me when people trade it in. I'm like, sick! The game twice. But anyways, yeah, Balan Wonderworld is made by Yuji Naka and his team, and it's published by Square Enix, which is really cool to see.
Yep.
And it's heavily, like you said, heavily inspired Yuji Naka, heavily inspired Knights game, and it looks neat. I saw bits and pieces of gameplay, and I said this on Twitter. It's very colorful. It has its own personality, but I said this on Twitter, and I have to wait until I get my hands on it. But the art style looks better than the gameplay. Like it's better eye candy than it is a video game.
Yeah, I don't know. But the thing is that we might be able to discover if you're right or wrong next week, because Balan Wonderworld is dropping a giant demo next week on Steam. So
yes,
now that's
good.
That's good. That's good. I'm all for it. It seems like demos are starting to make a comeback, and I'm 100% for it. Yes, please.
Yeah, I am so for that. Let me try the game, please.
Yeah, please let me try the game so I can get excited for it. And that's something that I really, really, really am enjoying, and I really love the fact that demos are starting to become a thing again. I like the idea of being able to actually feel the game's mechanics, or at least an early version of it, so that it's like a Crash Bandicoot 4 when they released the demo for that, right? For people to be able to give it a try.
I was just about to say, I'm glad that Balan Wonderworld is making it free for everyone, because my big problem with Crash 4 is that you had to pay $60 to get the demo.
Right.
Or I like as this game, like they know it's a new IP, it's very experimental. Give it out for free, the demo for free, so people can try it. And I really appreciate that, because that's Square and the dev team being like, we want people to try it, and we want to hear what people say, and then we'll get ready for launch.
I feel like, and I'm not trying to validate Crash Bandicoot on this one, but I feel like the demo for Crash 4 wasn't for people to try it. It's just to get people who are already excited for the game more excited. And not being like, hey, you should. And I don't feel like that's what a demo is meant to do. While it's great, a demo is meant for people to say, hey, I want to try this game because I'm unsure if I want to purchase it or not. And then
and I had a lot of friends who couldn't afford to buy the game for a full $60, and they just wanted to play the demo, and they couldn't spend $60 for a demo.
Right, and that's where Or what would have been interesting is that if they made the demo free after the game launched, then
at least
like the game launched. Okay, cool. The demo is open and free now. You can play Snow Way Out and Dino Dash for free. Give it a try, see if you like it, and then you can buy it. Right. So that way it's like, okay, now it converts over from being the hype train to try it if you like it. And I do agree with that. Yeah, I feel like the demo for Crash Bandicoot wasn't to try to sell the game, even though that's what it's going to do, because people who are him and Han about it and they really want it, it makes them want to buy it now so they can try the demo. But to be honest, I think the demo was more to get people who are already fans. I think that's what it achieved, was people who were already fans excited. You get them even more excited, and to lock in the people that were him and Han but did want to try it. And I get it. I do get that with the Crash 4 demo thing. And but I'm really excited to try this Balan Wonderworld demo.
Me too.
I think I'm gonna be trying it next week when it comes out, and hopefully it'll be good. So we're gonna move to the main news. Okay, so this is where I think that for one of the first times, Shemp and I might be on two sides of the coin here. We'll see. Here we go. Shemp and I, we don't really argue, but we do have civil debates. So this is going to be interesting. So
pulls out knife.
Yes, yeah, that's civil. Vicarious Visions. So let me make sure to get everything cleared out first. So as you guys know, Activision and Blizzard are kind of working together. So there was a merge, but at one point it was like Blizzard worked independently and Activision worked independently. They kind of were separate.
Even though Activision bought them, they still did their own thing.
Yeah, they still let them do their own thing. And unfortunately, Blizzard has been hitting rounds of bad luck, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: is that Blizzard at one point, and I think that if you can agree with me on this one, at one point Blizzard was the apex game company out of everybody.
They were the PC gaming gods.
Yes.
at one point. And that was like I'd say like mid to late 90s, early to mid 2000s.
Yeah, well, with Warcraft 3, StarCraft.
3.
First, their step into dominance was StarCraft. That was their first, because Warcraft 1 was like a college project that eventually got better.
Yeah.
Warcraft 2 was good, but they got noticed for StarCraft because it's still played.
And then they did Diablo, right?
Yeah, and then Diablo, they got noticed as well. They got very much noticed for Diablo. Diablo 2 was the one that they really got noticed for. But StarCraft, in my opinion, was what made Blizzard launch at first.
No, yeah, StarCraft was massive, and so StarCraft secured their hand in the Korean market.
Yep.
Because StarCraft is massive in Korea, and Diablo was really big in, I would say, America or Europe, I can't remember. But so they were strategically blowing up their IPs in different regions, and then they had Overwatch, which blew up specifically in worldwide.
Yeah. Well,
everyone played Overwatch. So that was when Blizzard has like, all right, we have this region, and now we have the world.
What literally changed? What the game-defining game that makes Blizzard, the game that made everybody notice Blizzard, whether you were if you liked video games or not, was World of Warcraft.
Yeah, World of Warcraft is what really blew, because everyone played it.
Everybody played it. Everybody was paying the subscription. It was ridiculous. Like, we were doing the math at one point where they were netting. It was something like $400 million a month net. It was,
good Lord.
It was disgusting at one point, and it was like, that is ridiculous. And it was, World of Warcraft blew up. But what happened was that Blizzard took a bad turn. Just, people were World of Warcraft was starting to get stale. There wasn't really any new IPs. So all they had Warcraft, which was also World of Warcraft, StarCraft, and Diablo. That was it. That was only Blizzard. And then eventually they had Overwatch finally come out, which had a big explosion at first, but definitely think has settled right down now. But anyway, it's still big. Don't get me wrong. Overwatch is still big, but not as big as it was before, I think. But anyway, what had happened was that Blizzard took a bad turn. They kind of spiraled out of control a little bit, and Activision bought them. Now, the merge with Activision had its mix of hits and misses, and Activision kind of left Blizzard alone. However, over time, Activision's executives have started to creep in more and more and more in handling Blizzard's business, from my knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So now what's happened is that, because the big thing about Blizzard was that Blizzard had high gross incomes, but always had a lower net income, because what was happening was they were spending a lot of money. So they were spending a lot of money on creating content for people. They were BlizzCon was the grab bags you would get at BlizzCon that were chock full of just stuff that was like ridiculous. Like, oh yeah, if you bought a ticket to BlizzCon, you got like $85 worth of content just for going. Like, here, you get codes. Here, you get a little statue. Here, you get a backpack. Here, you get just $85 in swag per person, right? Just because, right? It was ridiculous. And then all the people that they brought in for BlizzCon, and BlizzCon was always big every year. And honestly, like, there's not many companies that hold their own convention for their own games. Like, that's how big Blizzard is. Blizzard has its own convention for its 4 titles. 4.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, only like 4 active IPs. Yes. And so I guess like recently, the main news was that everyone knows Vicarious Visions.
Yep.
You know, they did the main thing they did was crash insane, but they had a extensively vast resume of different game projects. They made so many different games
Spider-Man.
over so many different years. Just Spider-Man. Yeah, they made some Spider-Man games. They did a lot of the Crash spin-off games, a lot of licensed games back then. They even worked on Destiny and Destiny 2. It was just like one genre, the next genre, the next genre, the next genre. I think they had like an employee count of like 200 people. I think that's still active. So they're owned by
Activision.
No, they're not. They were? Okay, because I remember they worked with other companies.
I think they were an independent studio, and they got bought in 2005.
Okay, so yeah, Activision owned them, and Vicarious Visions was like one of Activision's main teams. So we had Beanox, Vicarious Visions, Toys for Bob, Infinity War, Treyarch. We had the main teams working. Ravensoft,
Demonware.
Demonware, yeah, they're there too, I guess. And then Infinity Ward, if I didn't say them already, and it was cool. They had their own identity, but they were a main team because they had their logo on the boxes of the games they made. Yeah. And it was recently announced that Activision called the order for Vicarious Visions to merge with Blizzard.
Yes.
So Vicarious Visions is no longer Vicarious Visions. They are Blizzard. Mm-hmm. The same way that Activision's old studio, Neversoft, which made Spider-Man and all the Tony Hawks and everything in the PS1 era, even Gun on the PS2.
Good.
They merged. Good. they merged with Infinity Ward when they were doing Call of Duty support, because they were like, oh look, they do good work on Call of Duty support, and they were like, oh cool, hey, we're just gonna dissolve you, and they were like, what? Okay. So Neversoft evaporated. They don't exist anymore.
Yep.
And now Vicarious Visions has seemingly met the same fate. They have not gone into detail. They just said that they merged. And usually what that means with the development team is that they are gone.
Right.
The name-wise, they're gone.
Yeah. So, and the reason why, and some of you might be wondering why? Well, the reason why is because they have been in partnership and working with Blizzard in remaking Diablo II. Which is a big game for Diablo fans. Diablo 2 is arguably, from what I've heard because I don't play Diablo personally, but from what I've heard from Diablo fans, Diablo 2 is kind of seen as like the best one. And Vicarious Visions is taking the lead on remastering that. Now, some of you might be wondering why, because if you are a savvy Blizzard fan, you would say, hey, is there not the classic team? And you are correct. There was a classic team. If there is going to be one afterwards, I don't know. But what had happened was the classic team worked on StarCraft Remastered. They worked on a lot of the older games and bringing them back. Well, they made a big epic flop. And the big epic flop that they made was, and it makes me cry to say it, Warcraft 3.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Warcraft 3.
Yeah, so Warcraft...
Everyone did.
Yeah, Warcraft 3 Reforged came out, and it played like a giant pile of donkey butt. It was not good. There was a lot of things that were promised that were cut. It was deadlines. Jason Schreier reported a bit about it. There were just deadlines that were just short. Wasn't great, and I enjoyed it for what it was because I remembered my memories on it, but I can definitely see why people were having issues with it. So they've been patching it. I haven't played it recently. I might check it out again just to see, but it was overall considered as a flop. So what happened was that from what I'm reading, from what I'm understanding, is that instead of the classic team was working on Diablo 2. After Warcraft 3 flopped, they said stop. And they stopped. And they said, you don't know what you're doing. And Activision turned and said, hey, we have Vicarious Visions that literally just made Insane Trilogy, and they made Tony Hawk. They know what they're doing. They've remade games before. Give it to them. And that is what happened, is that Vicarious Visions then was like, okay, we're the new, I guess, remake classic team for now for Blizzard. So now, what are your thoughts about this? I want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, I've said it publicly on Twitter already. I think of it as a waste of talent because you have all these amazing developers that have done really good jobs on so many other different games, so many different IPs, and they have Vicarious Visions. They have a name for themselves. Like, you see the logo and you think of one of the many games that they made, and that's something all developers want. And to have that talent and name and stake and logo and all that stuff just merge into Blizzard, and you only see them maybe on the back of the box as a support team, kind of sucks.
Okay. So my take is a little bit different. My take is that at one point, as we both agreed, that Blizzard was a titan in this industry. A titan. And the thing is that are they as much of a titan now as they were back then? I would argue they are definitely wounded. They are not as titany as they were before. I think would be they're not as gargantuan. There are a lot of big fish now, and Blizzard ain't the biggest fish in the pond, though they are not to be trifled with. However, I feel as if that this is almost an overall a positive impact in a way that what's going to happen is that they are now working on Diablo, which I would argue in terms of size, in terms of scope, is bigger than Tony Hawk and bigger than Crash. Diablo is a much bigger project. It is loved. It's a classic game that's loved by millions. Is it the classic platformer? No, of course not. Is it a classic console game? No, it's a classic PC game. I think that there's a level of trust there that's being enlisted into Vicarious that is commendable. I think that the fact that they are being trusted with one of 4 Blizzard's IPs, trusted in bringing it back in its full glory, I think that that is something that's huge. And I think that having another studio, outside studio, because I don't think, other than Activision, Blizzard hasn't absorbed any other studio, have they?
Not from my knowledge. News on them has been very
Yeah,
low.
From my knowledge, they don't buy game studios. They just expand and grow Blizzard. This is the first. So to my knowledge, unless I'm wrong, so I might be corrected in the comments. Unless I'm wrong, there hasn't been where it's like, okay, we're gonna take this studio, dissolve it, and slap it into Blizzard. That hasn't happened before. And because of that, I feel like that is a great feather in the cap of Vicarious Visions, as the fact that does it suck that maybe there's like personality taken away? Yes, 100%. I do agree with that. And also we gotta ask the question: what's gonna happen to Tony Hawk? Who is gonna develop it now?
Well, yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. It's like, hey, the license expired. Just kidding. Maybe not.
Okay, so the license just expired, and Tony Hawk is just one. People are arguing Tony Hawk was the best remake of the year. Tony Hawk was well put together, well enjoyed by a lot of people. It was there's a lot of questions with that, and my answer is I don't know. I know Beanox supported the studio, and I know Beanox just announced that they're increasing the size of their studio, so maybe Beanox will be the team to take lead on Tony Hawk now. I don't know. What does it say about Crash and Spyro? I don't know. There's a lot of I don't knows going on right now. But the fact is that, and I'm going to be talking about this in a future video because hopefully next week, there is a lot what ifs and what's going to happen, and we got to watch because there's kind of a new pattern, a new setup that's happening right now. But Vicarious Visions being put in with Blizzard, a point that a friend of mine made, he said that they're being trusted with one of the biggest IPs in terms of dungeon crawlers ever in terms of dungeon crawlers, and they're being trusted.
Yeah, that's a good like thing to have, but like it just kind of sucks that like you're being entrusted with this one thing, and you're only ever going to be entrusted with this one thing. But like you said, it's a bunch of I don't knows.
Yeah.
We will have to wait, and that. Yeah, I really, it's just a big waiting game. And speaking,
sorry, what?
Oh, I was to say, speaking of a big waiting game.
Can I just say one last point before we move on, though?
Yeah.
One last point is that I think that I wish the best of luck to Vicarious Visions. They made great games, from their licensed games to Skylanders, to Crash Bandicoot, to Tony Hawk. They did great. It's not like they're gone either. It's not like rest in peace Vicarious Visions. They still live on, but in Blizzard. I wish them the best of luck, and hopefully that they're happy about this change, because if they're happy about the merge, if they're happy about it, then great. And if they're not, well, best of luck.
Yeah. So we'll just have to see. So
Yep.
Since we, I'm gonna go through this next topic pretty quickly, just since we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I cannot go without showing you. So Capcom had the Resident Evil Direct yesterday,
Yes.
and it was them showing information about the Netflix series, the new game. They announced this thing called RE-verse, which is like a multiplayer with RE8, which is like a free-for-all, but you're every other Resident Evil main character.
Okay.
I don't know. It's really neat. But what I wanted to get at is that they announced the special edition, the collector's edition. The special edition, it's kind of lame. It's just a plastic case that says deluxe edition, and it comes with DLC. It's kind of lame.
Yay.
I thought it'd be a steelbook. But you know what's even more lame? The collector's edition. So real fast, I'm going to send you a picture of the collector's edition. Okay. So I'm going to describe it right now. So what you get, right, is you get this neat box, right? It's a dope box.
Okay.
Then you get this
box.
art book, right? It just says box. You get this art book. You get this statue of Chris. You get a steelbook and a map. So 4 physical things, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, 3 physical things inside a box. And this is the only collector's edition.
Okay.
How much do you think this is? Now, how much would you pay for this?
For this, I would pay what I paid maybe for my Days Gone. So like what?
Because I was gonna say this is less than Days Gone,
less?
like in terms of content. What you get.
I mean, I would. What I paid like 120, 130 for my. So I'll say for the statue, the art book, I'd say in the game, 120.
120. Okay. How does 220 sound?
What?
Yeah. So they're charging you $220 for a cheap PVC Chris figure, not a statue, a figure, a piece of paper, and a book.
Okay.
You want to know what our Resident Evil 7's collector's edition came with?
What?
A house. You got a house. That's not even an exaggeration.
What?
Oh, let me show you. Here, okay, here's a picture of it, and I'll describe everything. Here's Resident Evil 7.
Oh gosh.
You got a house. It's a music box. So you got a house. You got a finger. That's a flash drive. Because in the game you have the mannequins and you have to find a finger. And they put that finger in there, and it's a flash drive. And then you get a picture of the family with a creepy note that they wrote in blood. You get a VHS tape box and a steelbook with this cooler box that has like the girl looking through the window.
Huh.
Which one would you rather pay for?
How much was this one?
That's a good question. Let's see.
Let's see.
Collector's edition retail price, because I do not think it was... all I know is that the resale value of RE7s is way more.
Yeah. What was the retail price on Biohazard?
Biohazard, because right now all I'm seeing is that complete, it's going for $300.
Okay, but it's because it's no longer in circulation, right?
Yeah, it's no longer in circulation, and I can't find. Oh wait, it was $180.
What? Hold on. So you get
$180. You get a house. For $180, you get a house that sings to you. Now, to be fair, there are reports that whenever the collector's edition for RE7 came out, they said it smelled like trash. It smelled really bad. But you know what? I got a finger flash drive. I got a VHS tape. I got a creepy note. I'm good, man.
This is this $220 is no, this isn't this is no bueno. This is no good. This is not.
No bueno. So I just wanted to bring that up real fast because I couldn't sit on that.
We talk a lot about bad valued collector's editions.
I know, because we talked the Scott Pilgrim one. We talk about how good of a value that was, and it's like half the price of this, and it comes with double the stuff. So
we got one more topic before we go, because we're running a bit out of time because Shemp has to go to work. So what? Cyberpunk. You mentioned this very briefly before we started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go ahead. Go off. Okay. What's going on?
So I don't know if we talked about this last week, but Jason Schreier had like a not a hit piece, but he had like an article detailing everything that went wrong with Cyberpunk, because he interviewed people currently working for CD Projekt Red and people who left CD Projekt Red because of Cyberpunk's development. So a couple of bullet points that I want to talk about. So you know how we said that Cyberpunk had 8 years of development?
Yes.
You know how much they really had?
What?
2.
What?
Cyberpunk was made in probably less than 2 years, because all of that up to that point, it was just like, they announced the concept, they were working on it, and then The Witcher 3 happened, and it was a monumental success. And the entire time that they're making Cyberpunk, in the 2 years that they had, the devs were like, hey, we can't feasibly make it in this time frame. And the higher ups at CD Projekt would say, well, we made The Witcher, so it'll work. And that is verbatim what they said. That's not me exaggerating. They would say, we made The Witcher, so this will work.
So
now,
hold on. Let me get this straight. So they announced Cyberpunk 8 years ago, but it was just a concept. That was it. It was just an idea.
It was just a concept trailer, and they wanted to see the reaction, and it was great because Cyberpunk is already an IP that exists,
right?
So that's already there, and the concept looked great. And so the thing is, you're probably wondering, if it only had 2 years of dev time, how did we get the trailer in like 2015 or 2016 or whatever we have? Because if you remember, there's a trailer where everyone's the main character's walking through the city, and you see all these people walking around, and they're like, look at these dense crowds. You can follow any of these NPCs, and it's so cool, and they all have their own day and night, whatever. that was fake. That wasn't even gameplay. That was a fake demo that they mocked up with just like animations. That wasn't even gameplay. It was just, here's what we hoped for it to look like. So they developed the game to look like the fake demo, just like Anthem did. Anthem did the same exact thing. They had that beautiful E3 demo that was fake, and then they made the game after that to look like the demo. It gets worse. Don't worry, it gets worse. So after that,
I'm worrying.
Up until no, it's okay. Up until that point, because don't get me wrong, there was work being done on CD Projekt Red. I'm not CD Projekt. Cyberpunk up until like 2018, and throughout all of those years, it was a third-person game. The entire game was structured to be third-person, and then last minute they were like, "What if we made it first-person?" For no reason. The higher-ups were like, make it first-person. And everyone thought it would be third-person because The Witcher was third-person, so why wouldn't Cyberpunk? It just makes sense.
Yeah.
And last minute, they made it first-person, so there's that. And then my favorite tidbit is that people who played the game know that the police system in the game is the most broken aspect of the game, because like you look at them and you kick a rock towards them and they're like, "Hey!" and they pull out a gun and start chasing you, and then you drive 40 feet to the right and they're like, "Wow, we lost him." And if you're indoors or even outside, it doesn't really matter. If you're having a gunfight with the police, they just spawn behind you. No matter where you are, they'll spawn a few feet behind you and start shooting at you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the reason it's so broken is because it was actually added last minute.
What? How?
Legitimately, they had to add it last minute, and without any true testing or anything. It was just, all right, yeah, they're there. All right, ship it. That was it. And another tidbit that I absolutely loved is that the development for this game was so all over the place that if they had like a shader for a certain area, they've developed a shader for this and some batch of code for this system and this system. No one knew what anyone else did. So if they had to work on something else that required a shader that they didn't know was already made, they had to make it again themselves. That's why everything in the game just doesn't load correctly, because it's trying to load 15 different variations of the same thing made by 15 different people.
Okay, wait, but wasn't this game, when was the first release date of this game? Was it not in I thought it was 2019? Was there not a release in 2019? Like, I know it's been delayed multiple times, but
let's see. Original Cyberpunk 2067 release date. A timeline of all the delays. Because I remember it being, I thought it was just 2020. Because it debuted. The trailer debuted in 2018 of E3. And I can't find anything. Yeah. It was supposed to be out in 2020. That's okay. What it says.
So
no. Hold on. That's Halo Infinite. What? Come on, dude.
Wrong game.
That's not what that was.
You see, that's where my question is, that because this game was delayed, and even like if it was like 2 years of development time in terms of like actually everybody working, like I'm sure it's been in development for 8 years by a small team or like a very few people just getting the concept together and getting it. And then they actually had the full power of CD Projekt Red come on, 2 years before release. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. At E3 2019, an initial release date of April 16th, 2020 was announced. So it was supposed to be out in 2020. That was the first one.
All right. So
and then it was delayed to September, and then November, and then December.
And so what this sounds like, it sounds like that this was all on, again, which we figured it was all on CD Projekt Red's fault 100%. This was a giant mismanagement of organization. This was a failure by the heads, failure by producers, failure on everybody in terms of head office and investors and stuff like that. 100% a fail. And again, this needs to be a lesson that's taken in the gaming industry, because this is ridiculous. But you know what isn't ridiculous? Wow, I just try to... my brain just... I need another coffee. But you know what isn't ridiculous?
you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to Wumpa Time once again. If you love the content and you're the platform that you're listening to this on, which you can listen to us on a whole bunch of different platforms, from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, it's there. If your platform of choice has a place to review it, please drop us a review and let us know what you think about the show.
Yes, drop a review, leave a rating, because obviously everyone loves seeing those stars go up. 5 stars is so satisfying. Just let us know how we're doing. Let other people know how much you enjoy the podcast, because obviously you enjoy it because you're listening to it. And if you don't, you're a sadist. Anyways. Regardless if you hate it or not, thank you for listening. Like you said, we are on everything with audio. Follow us on Twitter at Canadian Guy A with an extra H, because he is one special boy. At Shemp Official for me. Subscribe to both of us because we're so cool. And did I say, is there anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.